Hey all, welcome back to the channel. This is Tony. The channel is Tony Talks Cars, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I was kind of inspired to do this video literally 10, 15 minutes ago. I joined YouTube back in October. It's been about 8 months. And honestly, most of the videos I've done, I've thought about ahead of time, taken notes on. I like to research history of the players, the things I'm talking about, the season, the year, the team. And that's not all up in my head to kind of remember. So I do a lot of research, think about when to put videos out, who to talk about, when to talk about certain things. I do a lot of prep for it. I don't think I've ever gone on camera, at least I don't think I have, and done like a full off the script, off top of my head type video. But this is going to be that, so hopefully it goes well. We'll see how it goes. But I was inspired by my friend John over at Nerding Out with Cards. He did a video a couple days ago about grading and his experience with grading since I think jumping back into the hobby and showing cards he's had graded, not graded, and kind of his thoughts and how his thoughts have kind of migrated over the last little bit of time. And I tell you what, if I could copy and paste what he said, I would have had the exact same thoughts. But he said them a lot better than I'll probably say them today. But for what it's worth, John, you inspired me to kind of vocalize my thoughts on this too. And I've never shared a lot of my thoughts on hobby topics like SGC, PSA, grading, good, bad, or ugly. I've usually responded to other people's videos with my comments in the comments. I'll type out a 5, 6 sentence response about someone's grading video and give my 2 cents on it and leave it be, and it just stays there. But I've not talked about it orally on a video just about this topic. But John had it put so well and just so succinctly that I thought, I want to put my video out there too and just give you a little thought on what I think about grading and why and how my thoughts on grading have changed since jumping back into the vintage baseball community and hobby about 8 months ago, exactly when I started my YouTube channel, funny enough. So back then, I couldn't have told you what SGC was. I knew PSA graded cards because I had seen some. I actually owned a couple with my vintage football sets, but it wasn't intentionally. I didn't buy them because they were. I just bought them because they came with a bunch of cards that I kind of bought. Actually, I remember going to my first national in 2015 and walking by massive cases of cards that I thought were too shiny because they were all in plastic. They were all graded. And for me, back then I was building binder sets, raw cards, flip through the penny, the dollar box, the $5 box, penny sleeve cards, buy my cards that way because I could then take them out of that, put them in my 9 pocket pages, and have my set complete in a binder. PSA slab wouldn't fit in my 9 pocket page binder, so I didn't even think about them because they didn't fit. That was my simple rationale of not thinking about grading cards. I never did. And so I got back into the hobby, vintage baseball hobby, in October 24 with my YouTube channel. And I started buying graded cards, and I'm happy I did. They weren't overextended. I didn't buy too much, going into debt, all those things. But I'd have searches for PSA 5, PSA 4, SGC 6, 5, whatever people I wanted to buy and collect, including my Ernie Banks cards early, the ones I bought the first few months on YouTube were all graded. Cool, love them, not going to change them at all. I think they look great in the slabs they're in. And then it's funny, I keep a list I'm very detail oriented in terms of what I buy, what I sell. I'm an accountant, maybe that makes sense. I look back at the cards I've bought and I keep a list of all things I've bought, the date, who I bought it from, things like that. Shout out to John at 3D80s Kid. I think he did a video and talked about his data-driven analysis and how he keeps lists and schedules too. Well, I think he and I were cut from a similar cloth because I do the exact same thing with my schedules. But anyway, the first 2 months, I was buying 90% of what I bought probably was graded. SGC, PSA didn't matter, just it was graded. Since January or February of this year, so say 5 months ago, whatever that is, I've bought 95% of my cards ungraded. I don't know what happened in January, whether it was me thinking, oh, shoot, I could actually buy more cards if I bought raw versus graded cards right off the bat. Or I was just watching more YouTube videos. And the more I watched, the more I saw all the spectrums of opinion about what grading is. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people love grading, but only PSA. Some love grading only with SGC. And some are in the middle. And I think the more I got exposed to other channels, other views, other voices on the topic, I began to realize, well, wait a second. You mean there's a registry on PSA? Okay. But SGC cards, don't cross over to that. They don't play well together. I thought they were bought by the same company. How is the ownership going to work? They don't have a combined registry. Sounds like they don't. I'm not the hobby talk guy, so maybe other news has changed since then. So sorry about that if that's different, but I don't think they have a combined registry yet. Well, why? That seems odd. If I can't do this and that and they don't mix well together, why would I buy one versus the other? I only want to buy one that had the registry in it, right? But then PSA seemed to go for more of a premium than SGC in some cases. Maybe because of the registry, I don't know. But then I was finding SGC cars that were really nice looking to me in my eye appeal, and they were cheaper, and I'm going to buy those, right? And I hear other people talking about, well, grades can change. A 4, a 7 from 10, 15 years ago, maybe a 6 or 5 today. And I remember thinking, what? Like, I'm a very data driven person, right? So 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 should always be 4. Why would a 7 then be a 5 now? Why would a 5 now have been a 6? Why would a 3 then now be a 1? I mean, all these things I was like getting confused the more I watched, the more I got new voices on my YouTube feed, the more it made me wonder, you know, is that right for me? Do I want to invest in graded cards? Do I want to even submit mine for grading at all? And if I do, which company do I go with? And just all cards on the table, again, maybe that is a pun intended, I don't know. I've never once graded with any company. I've not sent anything into SGC or PSA. Don't know how to do it. I know I could find out real quick on their website or find a YouTube tutorial on how to submit cards to both companies, but I've never done it. And I don't want to really invest, for me right now, this is only my thought, no one else's thought but mine. I don't want to invest the time or money to do it. Like, if I had 20 bucks, I'd rather spend that on two $10 cards. And if I had 50 cards I want to grade for whatever thing I'm going towards, me personally, that's $1,000, I think, right? 20-ish dollars to grade times 50 cards, $1,000. For me as a collector now, and this is just again my opinion, no one else's opinion, I'd rather have $1,000 in cards, like two $500 cards or 10 $100 cards. That's just me right now. I'd rather put that money into more cards in my collection, and maybe that's kind of where it changed because right around that January, February timeframe of this year, looking back at my buying history, my spreadsheet I keep, literally nothing I bought was graded. Literally almost nothing. So I'm not sure what happened, what video it was, or what few videos came to my feed that got me to kind of think about that. But again, I love watching the grading videos, the reveal videos. I keep them up. If you do them and grading's your thing, please don't take this the wrong way. I love seeing your videos. I'll watch them. I love watching them because it helps me kind of know how you and other people think about the sets and cards, right? Others who've been collecting longer than I have may say, oh, this set from the 50s has a lot of snowing typically, or it's always usually off center, right? A lot of off center issues in this set. And you may talk about that as you grade, and I wouldn't have known that. So I'm learning from you as you talk about why you choose to grade or not grade certain cards. So keep it up. Um, for me right now, me as one man, one person right now in July of 2025, I don't see myself ever grading any cards. And certainly the last probably 4 or 5 months of all the hobby talk news around PSA and SGC and return times, and they're one company. Are they really one company? Are they being bought out? Will SGC go away? Will they not go away? Will the fees go up or down? And all these things, right? Me as more of a conservative, I'll maybe cheap, I'll call it cheap person. I don't want to choose a company that may not be in existence, I guess. And as of right now, my collection looks the same as it would if it was graded. It'd be more shiny in plastic if it was graded, obviously. But my collection of cards, the value of them hasn't changed to me if they're graded versus raw. I like being able to touch, feel, pick up the card. I like the graded cards I have as well. Those are beautiful and great. I'm glad I have them. I don't plan on selling those anyway. But for me right now, I can't, I don't want, and John said this really good too, is that I don't want a third party company to make me feel worse about my card after the grade comes back than I did before. And on top of that, I'm paying them for this. And I'm the type of person who I would probably overthink that too much. I'd be upset if it got a 4, it should have been a 5. I know me. I know that's probably something I would think. Even if it was a second, I had that thought. That's 1 second too much. I don't want to have that thought in my head if I was to go down the grading path. And on top of that, I'm paying this company $20 to possibly have me, because of my how I'm made up, it's my brain, pay $20 to have me be disappointed. Well, I don't want to pay $20 to have a risk of possible disappointment. And then the card is also gone for, is it, I don't know if it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever the case is, right? Maybe it's longer. I don't want to be without my card and possibly have something happen to it either. So, all that being said, this is just my opinion, but John said it so well. Like, he had a great video, really good thoughts, and I agree with you 100%, John. I was not grading myself, but I was buying graded cards heavily the first couple months on YouTube. And then all of a sudden something changed. And the last 5 months, I've done almost no grading. I've bought almost no graded cards. I've never graded anything myself, never sent it in, never paid for it. I'll pay for someone else's grading. And if you want to make a few bucks off me by buying raw, grading it, getting a good grade, I'll buy it off. I'll buy it from you, third party. That's cool. I know what I'm getting. Like when I go to buy a graded card, if I want to go buy a graded card, I know what I'm getting. Um, I guess if grading was a bit more scientific, which it probably can't be if a person's doing it, it's their opinion of the card. John Smith says their opinion of the card is a 5. Well, John Smith tomorrow in some other office may think that's a 6 or a 4. So I definitely understand the human aspect to it, and not every human can make the same decision. And vintage cards in general, they weren't produced to be saved as long as they are right now. They've got some characteristics to them, and how they present that are not the same as new modern cards. So there's definitely an art and a skill to vintage, I'm sure, in grading vintage. Um, but I don't want to have the risk of it getting, I guess, I want to know a bit more for sure, I guess, before I send it in, what it could be. Now, I'm not trying to give business advice to any of the grading companies, but if you could give me like a pre-grade, like, hey, here's a picture of the card, it'll get no less than a 6. For $5, I'd give you that. I'm not saying I would. Maybe some people already offer that. I don't really know. I'm just on the cuff thinking of these topics, these thoughts. Maybe I would do it. But even then, I'm like, it's not a guarantee. And I'm an accountant, a CPA, 2 plus 2 equals 4. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 3. It equals 2. And I get the art of grading. I definitely, I know it can't be robotically ever probably done entirely by a robot, nor do we probably want it to be done by a robot. Not saying that at all. But I think just the way grading is, it's an opinion. And I like to work with facts just a lot more given the way my brain's wired. So I'll probably stick to buying cards that are already graded because I know at least what it is. Now, do they grade the card more harshly or more loosely? Maybe. But at least I know what I'm getting. I know what the range of that card may go for, give or take. And I probably would do that only with the more expensive cards. Like, I may not buy a $10 card graded already. I just buy it raw for 2 or 3 or 4 bucks. But if I'm going after some big, larger, I would say over $500 cards or more, I'd probably lean towards having them already graded. So I knew what I was getting. It wasn't fake. It wasn't. I knew what I was getting, right? Whether it's trimmed, authentic, graded, whatever, I would know what I'm getting. I can make a decision based on that with my price and my budget. But anything below that, I may be okay just buying raw because I think it looks great in my binders. Um, so again, John, thank you for that video. I've probably been all over the place. Others probably don't have the same views I do, and that's cool. Like I said, my views I'm stating today are not meaning that the opposite of my views are bad. I like all the videos I watch. I enjoy watching grading videos, reveal videos, talking about grading videos, talking about the hobby and grading company videos. I love all that kind of talk radio type stuff too, and opinion videos. I love all of that. But John, you had a great summary of your thoughts on grading, and I wanted to kind of think about my own thoughts too. I think what it comes down to, and I mentioned this a few minutes ago, is that if I have $100, I want to buy $100 in cards. Maybe that's more of a quantity thing for me. I like that. But I wouldn't send 5 cards in to be graded with that $100. Now I may buy 2 graded cards already for the $100, right? That maybe have better grades. They They go for more, they command more, right? Versus 10 raw cards for that same dollar amount. But I probably wouldn't pay for plastic for those 10 cards at, or 5 cards at $20 each, whatever the price is. So that's just me right now. And again, like John was saying too, I would hate for a company's grade to affect my view of the card, or I'd like it even a percent less because it came back with a 5, not a 6, a 7, not an 8, or an A, not a 1 or 2. I would hate for that, even one iota of that, to creep into my mindset. So for me, knowing the way my brain is wired, I probably won't grade ever. Um, I may have more. I may want to grade more and have more. What's the right word? I may desire to grade more potentially if there was one company, like it was one grading company with one registry. Maybe I would, but not sure yet. So for right now, I'll keep the money I have buying more cards, enjoy the videos I keep watching, but just want to share a little bit about my journey the last 8 months on YouTube and how it mirrored a lot with John's from nerding out with cards. Sorry for being a little bit long on this. Hopefully you can kind of get through my ramblings and it was okay and you understood what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything negative, but just sharing my opinion for the first time really on this channel, and maybe others have different ones, and that's cool too. It's just where I'm at, and John, you inspired me to kind of put those thoughts into words, and hopefully it came out okay. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. See you at the National, too. Take care. Bye.